So you're new to Genshin, you do a 10 pull on the current banner, and you get 5-star Raiden Shogun. Now what do you get with Raiden besides one of the characters with the most interesting burst animations in all of Genshin? Well, Raiden is a polearm wielding Electro user who can actually fill almost any role in any team, being an on-field damage dealer, an off-field damage dealer, or even a support. I'm Kessie, Mingo, whatever the hell you want to call me. And because not everybody is AR60 with 36 star Abyss, I decided I was going to make videos that hopefully anybody can understand. So if you do learn something from this video, do be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And with that being said, let's get into this video. So first, I want to say thank you to one of my mods, Cloud, for letting me use his account with his Raiden on it. I did pull Raiden last night, but I'm still working on her, and I made the beginner guide on TikTok with this Raiden, so I figured I'd go ahead and use it for the YouTube video. Now, his Raiden is a top 5% for hyper carry Raiden, so she's going to be doing some damage. Now, like every video, I do want to go ahead and show the build that we're working with, just in case you want something to reference for a later build. And also, if you aren't doing this kind of damage on your account, that might just be the difference in levels, different artifacts, weapon, things like that. So she is level 80 with 1800 attack, 74 over 138.6 with 261 energy recharge, which is crazy. Weapon, he does have her signature Engulfing Lightning at level 90, 4-piece emblem, C0, 188. So that is what we are working with. Okay, so first we're going to talk about her normal attacks. So I believe it's a 5-hit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Her charge attack is just very simple. And nothing too special about those. So now we're going to go to her skill. Ignore the ring behind her for right now. I will explain that. So her skill is going to do an AoE Electro attack, as well as put that little eye above, and that means that if I swap to another character and they do damage, then Raiden will do off-field Electro damage as a coordinated attack with whoever is on the field. So you see there, we are getting coordinated Electro attacks anytime the person on the field does damage, does an attack. So the skill is what makes her an off-field damage dealer, right? I said that she can fill any role. Her skill allows her to be the off-field damage dealer. So now we're going to look at her burst. Now, this massive wall of text is the description of her burst. And we're going to boil it down to a couple of smaller things. One, it will do an AoE Electro damage whenever you click to use her skill, as well as giving her the ability to get what are called resolve stacks. We will explain that. 2, her normal charge and plunging attacks become infused with Electro. When she hits an opponent, it will regenerate energy for all nearby party members. So she is a battery supporting, as well as dealing damage with her burst. So now we have on-field damage dealer, off-field damage dealer, and support all in one. Now you can only trigger this 5 times, but that's still plenty. Something else, she becomes immune to Electro charge damage, which is awesome. Now, if she leaves the field, her burst will end. So when you use her burst, she has to stay on the field. Now, how the stacks work. Whenever a nearby party member, excluding herself, uses their own burst, she will build up resolves based on the energy cost of those bursts. Maximum number of stacks is 60. Now, 2 things. 1, how do you know the energy cost of your other character's bursts? And how do you know how many stacks she has? Well, if we go to Sara and we go to her burst, right here it says energy cost of 80. We go to Xiangling, go to her burst, energy cost of 80. If we go to Bennett, go to his burst, energy cost of 60. When they use their bursts, it will help build stacks on Raiden. So you want to use their bursts first. If their bursts are not ready, then you can use Raiden's burst, stay on the field, do less damage, but it will help build their energy, which can be really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and use her burst right now. It's going to do an AoE Electro Slash, and her normal attacks are infused with Electro, right? The infusion only lasts for so long, but that's okay. So now you see this ring on her back. This ring on her back is how you tell how many stacks she has. You see how there's a few bright spots and the rest is dark? That means that she doesn't have many stacks. So what we want to do is we want to use the other character's bursts to build the stacks. So we're going to use Sara's, and you see now more of it is bright. If we go to Xiangling, now we've got like 2/3 of it, or yeah, around 2/3. Now we're going to go to Bennett's, and it's almost completely charged up. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to use her burst again. It's fully charged now. 46,000 and then 86 I saw in the back. Now we just used all of the bursts, right? Everybody already has their bursts ready to go again. So, and there's not much charge. We're, what, almost a quarter of a charge? But this is how you use Raiden in a hyper carry team, where she's going to be doing a lot of the damage. She's going to be on field a lot of the time. So now that we've talked about how her skill and her burst work, as well as this burst of your other characters and how they contribute to Raiden, when we get to the artifact and weapons, we are going to be talking about 2 different builds for Raiden that you can do even as a beginner. And while I'm not going to show an example of the other way to build Raiden, I will still talk about it, right? I don't want to change somebody else's build, so I'm not going to touch his build on his Raiden. So now it is time to get into the artifacts. So for a beginner artifact set, you have, like I said earlier, 2 options. The first is going to be for a Raiden that is similar to this, where you want energy recharge, where you want to have her burst as available as possible. So you're going to want to run either a 4-piece Exile or a 2-piece Exile, 2-piece Scholar. Now, the 2-piece Exile, 2-piece Scholar will give you more energy recharge overall, a total of 40% just from each 2-piece set. That will allow Raiden to use her burst more frequently. And on the energy recharge build, the hyper carry build as it's called, you're going to want to run, if possible, energy recharge on your Sands, if possible, electro damage bonus on your Goblet, if possible, and then a crit rate or crit damage circlet, depending on what you need more of. Now, this version of Raiden can crit, so you do want to be building your crit rate and your crit damage. For weapons, we're going to go ahead and finish talking about this build. The best free-to-play weapon, which you can only get if you have been to Inazuma, is the Catch. It gets up her energy recharge, as well as increasing elemental burst damage and elemental burst crit rate. This is by far her best free-to-play weapon. If you do not have this weapon, if you can't get to Inazuma or something like that, then the White Tassel can be really good because it increases your crit rate, which can be very helpful, as well as it increases normal attack damage. So this would be another good 3-star weapon. Now, there is a craftable weapon, which is the Prototype Star Glitter, that does get up energy recharge. This can be another good weapon if you can make this just to get her energy recharge up, so that way, again, you are doing her burst more often. So for Raiden's other build that you can do early on and late game that's still really, really good, it is going to be full elemental mastery. So you're going to want to run a 4-piece instructor set, getting as much elemental mastery as you can possibly get on Raiden. Now, this is typically going to be for a team maybe like with Chevy, who's the brand new 4-star, that is also on this current banner, where you're going to be doing overloaded damage with Pyro and Electro characters, or it could be on like a Hyper Bloom team or an Electro Charge team, where the only thing that you're really worried about is Raiden's level and her elemental mastery. That is the other kind of build. So whenever it comes to this elemental mastery build, there is one weapon that is the best, and it is a 4-star weapon. And that is going to be Dragon's Bane. Dragon's Bane gets up your elemental mastery by a lot, as well as increasing damage against opponents afflicted by Hydro or Pyro. Now, this was on the last banner, so you might have gotten 1 or 2 of these. If you did not get this weapon, then there is a craftable option. The Kitain Cross Spear. Now, this also gets up elemental mastery, not as much as Dragon's Bane, and you do have to get to Inazuma and finish some world quests to unlock the ability to craft this weapon. But If you do have this weapon craftable, this is another good option for this elemental mastery build. If you have neither of those weapons and you want to make almost like a cross hybrid between elemental mastery and energy recharge, then you can always just use the prototype star glitter again if you don't have the catch. So now we're going to talk about a beginner friendly party. Now, you saw earlier in the video how well Xiangling worked with Raiden, so because you get her for free upon clearing floor 3 of the Abyss, then she's definitely got to be included. Next is going to be Barbara, who you get for free upon completing the Electro Archon quest. She can be really, really good at get some healing in there, get some Electro Charge going, get some Vaporize going. She can be really good. The 4th slot, I'm going to say it's kind of a flex. Like, there's not really a fantastic character that you could put there. I mean, you did get at one point, you could get Bennett for free. So technically I could count him, but he's not a guarantee. You could always do Lynette to get a little bit of crowd controlling. You could also get maybe like Hydro or Pyro infused into her burst. I wouldn't necessarily use a cryo character. I mean, it might be fine to use like Kaya. But honestly, if you've been doing pulls and you have Raiden on this kind of flex slot, either an Anemo character or another Electro character like Sara that is on the current banner. So for this, it's mainly going to be Xiangling, Raiden, and Barbara. That's mainly what we're going to be doing here, right? Now, not everybody's burst was ready, so I can use Raiden's burst to actually get them some energy recharge. We got Barbara's burst ready. We just need to get Lynette's ready. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to get... to get everybody's burst going. Always use her skill when it's ready. It has a pseudo permanent uptime. You should almost always be able to have her burst ready to, or her skill usable. So we were using Lynette's burst to give some crowd control as well as absorb either Hydro or Pyro, just so that way we could do more reactions. We were using Barbara's skill to kind of run around. We didn't always have her burst ready, but that's okay. And then Xiangling were using Guoba and her burst like normal, Raiden hyper carrying the team. That is how this kind of team would work. Now, I was not paying attention to the ring around her back to see how charged it was. That is just because this team isn't completely built. Lynette's below level 20 or level 20. So, you know, I couldn't do everything perfect. This kind of is just about giving you an option for a free-to-play team that could be really good for the hyper carry version of Raiden. If we were using the Elemental Mastery Raiden, then we would be using Kale, because you get her for free upon clearing floor 4 of the Abyss. And then we would have Dendro Traveler or another Hydro if you had access to another Hydro, if you had another Hydro character. And this would be the Hyper Bloom team, slightly quicken, probably. This would be more of a quick bloom team than anything, because Barbara doesn't apply a ton of Hydro, but we could do a full Hyper Bloom team with this. I know that I just had a lot of jargon. Basically, we would just be using Elemental Mastery Raiden to her fullest, essentially. Fullest before Chevy. Clarification. But that is going to be it for this beginner guide to Raiden. If you have any questions, do be sure to leave a comment. Check out the TikTok, check out the Discord. There are links to both of those in the description below. Thank you again, Cloud, for letting me use your account, and I will see you in the next video.